wish you all a very happy new year once again. So let's start and let's create one new project. I'm going to call it native mobile bits underscore SuperApp. Okay, this is going to be our project name, and for package we are going to keep this com.nativemobilebits.superapp. Okay, now let's click on finish and Android Studio will create our project. Our project is created. Let's remove all of these things for now. We are going to create everything from scratch, and this application is going to have multiple features, so we need to make sure that we use some kind of central dependency management system as well, and for that we are going to use this TOML file, and this is very efficient when it comes to configuration file for different modules. In simple words, we can just mention all of the libraries and their respective versions or plugins here in this one TOML file, and this file can be accessed in different modules, and we can access the dependency from this file in all of our modules. Now before we proceed, first of all let's try to run our project and let's see if our project is running at least. And that's why I was just checking it, because there can be some configuration related issue for our compiled version or target version. So for now let's go to our build.gradle file and let's update it to 35, and let's sync the project. And once our project is synced successfully, let's try to run it again and let's see that if now our project is runnable. Yeah, we can see that now our project is able to run successfully. Now let's close this and let's add some dependencies inside our TOML file. So first of all, let's take this dependency coroutine one, and inside our TOML file let's define dependency for coroutine. Inside this we can just use this syntax, and this is going to be the group, and this one is going to be used as name. Okay, now we also need to define the version for this library, so we are going to use version.reference, and we are going to define one version as well. So let's define coroutine, and this is going to be the version. Okay, now we can use this version here. So this way we have defined our coroutine dependence. Now if we want to use coroutine, we can just go to our build.gradle wherever we want to use, and we can just use with the help of implementation libs.coroutines, this one, okay, which we just defined. This way we can define any dependency with the help of TOML and use it inside our project. Now for the next dependency part, let's try to integrate Dagger-HILT inside our project, because we are going to use HILT as the dependency injection tool inside this project. Okay, so for HILT dependency we need to use these two. Let's take these one by one. Okay, let's go to our TOML file, and here let's define one dependency for HILT, and we are going to use the same syntax. For group we need to take com.google.dagger, this one, and then we need to provide the name. This is going to be the name HILT and Android. Then we need to provide the version. Okay, so for version, first of all we need to define one. We need to go here at the top and we need to use HILT version like this. We can define we can come here and refer with the help of this which we just defined. Okay, I think we can use 2.52, which is little bit recent release, and then we can use this. Okay, now let's take the second dependency, this one. This we need to define as HILT compiler, and here first of all we need to define group. So group is going to be same. Then for name we can use HILT compiler, and for version we can use the same version which we defined. Then we also need to use HILT navigation compose. Let's copy this, come to our TOML file, define HILT navigation compose, and this time let's use module, and this is going to be the module, and we need to define this as a version. We need to define one version first. We can define HILT navigation compose, define the version and use it here. Okay, like this. Now we have defined all of the dependencies needed for HILT integration. There is one plugin as well for Dagger-HILT which we need to define. So this we can copy, and inside our TOML file we have this plugin sections. Here we can define one for HILT Android, and in ID we can pass this one which we just took from here. We also need to pass the version, so we can just pass version dot reference, and we have already defined HILT version. Okay, now we need to apply this plugin inside our build.gradle. So we can just come here, and inside plugin block we can just access from our plugins, and we just need to use HILT dot Android. Okay, this plugin we are accessing inside our build.gradle file. Now next thing, we need to access these dependency inside our build.gradle file. So we can just use with the help of implementation and libs.hilt. So we are accessing this dependency. So for defining HILT compiler, we can just use kapt. Okay, so how we can do that? With the help of kapt, we need to access first libs.hilt.compiler, but you will see that it is showing as unresolved reference. So for this, inside plugins we can just add Kotlin kapt and sync our project once, then this error will be gone. Okay, once we sync our project, this error will be gone, and we will be able to access the HILT dependency for HILT Android and HILT compiler both. Now next thing, we need to access this HILT navigation compose as well. So we can use with the help of libs.hilt.navigation.compose. Okay, this way we have accessed all of these HILT related dependency. The last thing, we need to define this plugin in project level build.gradle file as well. So here we just need to do alias libs.plugins.hilt.android and apply false, and our HILT integration is done inside our project. So these are the steps you can follow to integrate HILT in any project. I have seen so many comment in the previous videos that how we can define HILT, we are getting error. So you can just follow these steps and your errors will be resolved. So just to summarize, we have defined our HILT dependency and one HILT plugin, and then we have accessed the HILT dependency inside our build.gradle file. Now let's close all of these files, and as we have declared Dagger-HILT dependencies as well. So our setup is ready. Let's try to run our application to check if setup is successful. Yes, it is. Now let's try to declare the application class for our project. So we can just create one new Coroutine class and let's call it super application. Okay, and we can just extend it with application class. Okay, and we need to override onCreate method. As we have already implemented Dagger-HILT, so we can just use HILT Android app annotation. This annotation is the indication that this application is using HILT. Okay, this is the entry point of HILT integration as well inside any Android project. Okay, once we have declared our application class, we can just come to our manifest file, and inside our manifest file, in here in this application tag, we can just use this and add our application class. Okay, now we need to define one very basic companion object to define one tag, and for that let's use super application as the tag for now, and we can just add one log. Or for now let's add this, but we are going to define one custom logging system as well, so that let's say right now we have only one class. Once this project will grow, we will have multiple classes, and in those multiple classes we will have multiple log statement, right? So let's say for now we are into development, it's fine if we are printing so many logs inside logcat, but let's say tomorrow if we want to go to production, so we should not print so much data inside our logcat, right? So for that we need to remove these logs at that time. But how we can do that? Let's say if I want to remove the logs, I need to go to each file to remove the logs, but that will be a time taking process, right? But if we have our custom logging system, we can turn off or turn on the logs at one given point. Okay, that will be very helpful. So for that, let's define one custom logging system, and that also we can do in one separate module. So for that, let's define one new module. We can choose this as Android library, and let's call it utilities. Okay, this is going to be the utility module. So you can see that our utility module is created, and inside this we can just come inside main package, and here we can just create one Kotlin class, or let's say we create one package here itself, constants, another one for logging. Now let's close these files, and inside logging let's create one singleton class, I would say, and let's call it app logger. We are creating this as a singleton because we don't want to create the object of this class every time, and we just want to access the function inside. Okay, and let's call it d. This is one function. Here we can define tag, whatever the tag we want to pass, and one message. Okay, so we have defined one function that we have to pass one tag and one message. Let's say we don't want to pass sometime the tag value, so one constant we can define, and let's call it app logger. Okay, and we can pass this as the default value so that we no need to pass every time. Let's make it private as well. Now same function we can provide for error with the help of e, and inside this we can use log.d tag and message, and here as well we can just do log.e tag and message. Okay, let's make it message. Alright, so this is our very basic app logger, but we want to print this only if our project is in development. Okay, so for that we can just access build config dot debug. If our project is in development mode, then only print this. And same thing for error as well. Okay, so we want to access build config, but to access this, first of all we need to go inside build.gradle file of this feature, and here inside this Android block we need to add one another block, build features, and here we need to add build config as true. Okay, same thing we need to do inside all of the modules build.gradle. So we can just go to main module, and here we need to add build config as true, and that's it. Sync the project. Now next thing, for now if you see, we just have build type as release, so we need to add one block for debug as well. Here we can make it as true. I will show you that how we can implement the ProGuard and how we can set up the different build types and how we can release the different build types later on. But for now, let's keep it as false itself. But let's add this debug block inside our main build.gradle file as well. Here as well, let's add one for debug. Now sync the project. So now after successfully cleaning and rebuilding our project, we are able to import the build config. Okay, now inside this app logger we have two methods. Intentionally we are having named as D and E. This is basically for debug logs, and this is for error logs, and all of these things will only be printed in the logcat whenever we will be having the development variant of our build type. Now our custom app logger is ready. This is like a very basic logging system, but we will enhance it as we progress further, but for now it is sufficient. Okay, so now we need to use this to print any log inside any module in our project. Okay, so for that, first of all we need to use this class inside our application, because there we have one log, right? So how we can access the app logger here? App logger, but you see we are not able to access this. It's showing as cannot find declaration. Why? Because first of all we need to import this module inside our app module. How we can do that? We need to come inside the dependency, and on top or anywhere inside this dependency block we need to add here implementation, and here we need to add project, and the project name we have here as utilities. So we can just copy and add it here. Sync the project. So now we are telling our application module, which is the main module for our project, that hey, we have created one small Android library or one small sub module which is called as utilities. Please integrate that inside our project. Okay, inside our app module. Now whatever we write inside this module, utilities module, we will be able to access inside our app module. How we can do that? Let me show you. We have written one file here which is app logger. This is inside utilities module. But if we want to access this inside our super application, which is inside our app module, so we can simply import this and use any of these methods. So let's use directly application is launched, and we are not passing tag, we are just passing this inside message. Okay, so we can see that it will come here, it will just take the default tag. Let me show you. Let's run this. So whenever our application will be launched, this method will be triggered, and this method will add one log, and we are passing one message. Okay, so if we go inside the declaration, we should be having the tag as app logger. Let's take this, come to locate, add it here, and our application is launched, and we can see that one log is printed here with the help of this tag, and the message we printed from here, application is launched. Okay, so now we going forward, we are going to use this logging system itself. I know that you must be thinking that why we are creating all of these things, but now my vision for this project is to make it big, and we are going to implement several features, and we are not going to do this project creation from scratch for all the videos. We will use the same project, same code base, and we will scale this code base, so you will get a feeling that how we work in real companies where we build applications. Okay, so right now we are starting it, so stay with me and just learn the basic, learn these essential concepts, and you will see that how we progress further, how we scale this application into one super app. Okay, now inside constant, here I am going to create one file, and I am going to call it app constants. Okay, and we can also create this as a singleton, and here we can create some constant. Later on we will need multiple constant, and we will keep all the constant here. Let's close all of these things. Now you see, this is going to be our application. So first of all, let's design the splash screen. This we can keep inside home module itself. So now let's create this first screen, which is going to be a splash screen. For this we are going to use splash screen API as well. So for that, let's add the dependency first of all. So we need to take this dependency, and inside our project TUML file, we can just add splash screen, and we can just add group Android X core, and for name we can add core splash screen, and for version reference we can add here splash screen, define the version, use it here. Okay, now inside our build.gradle file we can add implementation libs dot splash screen. Okay, and just sync the project, and our splash screen dependencies will be integrated. We can use it further. Let's go to main activity. Okay, inside our main activity here we can just use install splash screen, this extension function, and this helps us with one splash screen. We just need to make this as well Android entry point, because we want to use Dagger-HILT, and after that we just need to go to our Android manifest. We need to remove these and use here logo. We want to use this inside our splash screen as the logo. Okay, now for this theme we need to define one splash screen theme as well. We can call it splash screen theme. Okay, and here we need to use parent as theme dot splash screen, this one, and we need to use few item here. We need to define few items. Let's say splash screen background, which color we want to use. So we can use window splash screen background. We can define here color. Do we have white color? Yes, we have. So we can use this. Then we need to use window splash screen icon. So for this we can use our logo, and we need to use one post splash screen theme as well, which is going to be our main theme, this one. Okay, so we have defined one custom splash screen theme. We have one white background, we have one logo which we want to see, and then we have the post splash screen theme for rest of the application, which is the default theme dot native mobile bits underscore super app. Okay, let's take this, go to manifest, apply it here, and yeah, that's it. Now we can just try to launch our application, and we should see that one splash screen should come up with the given logo, and then later on the default theme should come up. So our application is launched, and you can see that we got one splash screen and then our main screen is showing up, which is obviously coming from our main activity. But the simplest splash screen which we just implemented, let me show you once again. This is the icon also, native mobile with super app. If we click on this, we see this as the splash screen, and then immediately our main screen comes up. Now we need to design this screen. This is going to be the home screen of our super app, and in this home screen we are going to have a lot of things. We are going to have some kind of dynamic banner, and those banners will be coming up either from some kind of backend, it can be Firebase or any remote API, and then we need to show some different cards or section for different features, and it is going to be similar to all the other super app. If you see phone pay for example, they have different cards in the home screen for maybe wealth section, and that card will have different functionality related to wealth. And then in our case we are going to have another card for travel, and it can contain multiple other things, flights, top hotels, and so on, and some other cards like weather and all. So let's start main module. So first of all, let's modify this package structure a little bit. In this project we are going to use clean architecture, or I can say we will use different modules. So it will be something like modular clean architecture. So let's restructure the packaging little bit. We are going to have three layers. So we are going to create three main packages: presentation, then we are going to have data and domain layer as well. So let's create one package for data and one package for domain layer. Okay, so all of these things, UI, theme, and this main activity, etc., are going to be inside this presentation layer. So first of all, let's take this here, move this UI package also in presentation. So as of now we have only one activity. We are going to keep this inside this package. If in future we create other activities, we are going to keep inside this package itself. Okay, so as of now this is our presentation layer, but we are going to design multiple composable. So let's create one package, components, and whatever the common components we are going to design or develop for all the different screens, we can keep inside this package. Then another thing, we are going to have multiple screens. So let's create one package for all the different screens. Okay, this is our basic presentation layer for now. All this data and domain related stuff we will implement later on in this video. Now let's start by creating our first screen, which is going to be the home screen. So inside screens package we are going to create one package, home. Let's say tomorrow we want to create one screen for user profile. So we are going to create one package first of all inside this screens package itself, user profile, and then we will proceed. Okay, so let's keep this package as it is for now, and let's focus on this home package. So in most cases or all of the cases, whenever you are creating one new screen, you need to have these three things. First, you need to create one composable. Let's say home screen. Let's use composable annotation, home screen. Okay, this is our screen. Then we are going to have one view model. So we can just say home view model, and we can extend it with view model and annotate with HILT view model. Okay, this is one very basic view model, but we are going to need this. Then every screen will also have one specific state. So let's create one Kotlin class and we can call it home UI state. Okay, right now I am keeping it as a class. Later when we add some data, we can make this as a data class. So if you want to create one screen, one home screen, we have created these things. One composable, which is going to be our main screen. Then we have one view model as well for our home screen, and this view model will hold all the necessary things to fetch data from somewhere and to prepare the UI state and everything. Then we have one specific home UI state, that how our home UI screen is looking at a given point of time. So in this, let's make it data class right now, and we are sure that we will have these two things, is loading, and we can make this as a boolean. This is our first parameter, that if our home screen is having some kind of loading, so that we can show some kind of loader or a spinner inside our UI at a given point of time. Then next thing, we want to make sure that is there any error or something. Okay, so we can just add one error message. Let's make it nullable. Okay, and by default error is null. So this is our UI state. Obviously when we are going to fetch some data from the APIs, we are going to update our data class as well. Now let's modify the colors little bit. I am going to use this as primary color. This is going to be the secondary color. Okay, then we have white and black. Yeah, as of now we are going to use only these colors, and let's modify this inside color as well. Same way we have changed all of these colors. Okay, we have defined the variable for all of the colors from our colors.xml. Now we need to update the theme. So for primary we can just use primary color, for secondary we can use secondary color, and for this one we can use light color, or let's use white color for now. We have updated our light color scheme and dark color scheme. Now let's modify this method where we are constructing our main theme. Okay, first of all let's make this dynamic color as false. We will make this true later on, and that time we will learn what is the use of dynamic color and how we can utilize this. But for now let's keep it false, and let's delete this much. And here let's simplify this with the help of dark theme. If we have the dark theme, we are going to return dark color scheme, else we are going to return light color scheme. Okay, and that's it. Now let's try to run the application once, and let's see how our app is looking with these new colors. We are getting one error. Okay, it's in home view model, because as of now we have not added the inject in constructor, so there was this error. Now let's try again, and our build is successful. We can see that our application is running fine. So that means all the changes which we did related to colors in theme and in our color file as well, it's working fine. Okay, now let's go back to our home screen, close all the tabs, close the emulator tab as well, and let's start designing our home screen. In our home screen, let's start with one column. This column is going to be the parent. So we are going to have one modifier with fill max size, and let's use wrap content size alignment center. Okay, for now let's keep background as well as white color. Now let's design one preview also for our home screen. So we can just write @preview, and we can just use this. So we have created one preview for our home screen and we have added this show background as true because we want to make it looks like one actual screen with white background. Okay, so let's see how our preview is looking like. Right now this is our empty screen. Now if you take a look on this screen, the first component we want to design, it's like one toolbar. So we can create this as an independent component. Okay, so we can come to this components package. Let's take this here, reduce the size little bit, and inside our presentation layer in our common components package we can create one new composable and we can call it app toolbar. Okay, this is going to be one composable again, and we can create it with the help of one row composable, and let's take help of one modifier fill max width, and we can just take height as 80 dp for now. Import the dp statement. Let's take this in next line. Now as you can see, first we need to take this icon. Okay, inside our app toolbar, first thing we need to have one user icon. So we can just use icon and we can pass one painter with the help of painter resource, and for id we can pass r dot driver dot ic user. Okay, first we need to import this, and this is going to be the icon which we are going to use, and we can just give one content description user image. Let's create one preview of this, so we can just use preview and we can take this preview and app toolbar. Let's add show background as true. So our image is showing up, but let's add one modifier as well. We can give one custom height and width, size maybe 60 dp. Let's see if it reduce. Okay, it's increasing, so let's use 40 dp. So first of all, let's reduce the size of the height, and in this 70 dp, this 40 dp size of this icon looks good. Now let's look at the design. So next we need to take one text component. So for that, either we can just write the text composable directly here, or to make the code reusable, we can just create one new Kotlin file and let's call it text component. Let's create one composable. Okay, and inside this we can just take the default text composable. It will be even more better that if we pass modifier as the parameter and we use that here. Okay, now we need one text value, so we can just add one parameter text value as well, string, and pass this in our text composable. Now let's enhance the style of this text composable. So first of all, we need few things. We need one text color value. Okay, it can be, let's say, white color for example by default, or black color. We have added one default value as well. Now inside our text composable we can use text style and we can pass color, and if someone want to customize the color, so they can just pass the value and that color will be applied. Next we can also add font size, and for that we need to add one parameter font size value. It will be of type text unit, and we can add by default font size should be 16 sp. Okay, and we can add this here. We can also add one alignment, so we can just use text align and we can use text align dot center. Okay, So this is our basic text component. We can utilize it anywhere inside our project, and later on we will also keep on enhancing this as we progress. So for now we can take this and come inside our app toolbar, and here we can add one text component. So if we look at the screen, we need to pass add address. So we can just come here inside our modifier. First of all, we can just pass modifier dot wrap content size. Okay, and for text value we can pass add address. We can extract this inside one string resource. Our string resource is ready, and we can also pass font size value. So for this we can pass, let's say 16 sp. Okay, and let's refresh our app toolbar preview, so it should come up. Okay, so 16 sp is very less, I think, so we can just pass 20 sp here, and we need to make sure that all of these are coming in the center, right? So we can just pass here vertical alignment, and we can pass alignment dot center vertically. Okay, so all of these will be aligned center vertically. If we look at the screen, we need to give some space in between, so we can just add one spacer, and we can pass one modifier. So we can add modifier with the help of width, and we can just add, let's say, 18 dp for now. So it should add some space in between, and that's good enough. Now first of all, let's take this component and go to our home screen. Inside our home screen we can add this. The moment we add this component inside our home screen, we can notice that it's coming in the center. We can do one thing, we can add this column and toolbar with the help of scaffold. This is also one component. So here we can provide top bar, and we can pass this toolbar there. We need to surround this with lambda. Okay, we can just take this in the next line, and here scaffold will return one padding. This padding will make sure that whatever the content we put inside, it does not overlap with the toolbar. And we can just take this, add it here. Okay, like this. We can delete it from here. We can use this padding here. Okay, now you can notice that our toolbar is coming at the perfect place. We need at the top, it's coming at the top. We are using scaffold as the parent. In this we can pass top bar, bottom bar, and so many other things. For now we are just passing top bar. Now let's go back to our app toolbar. We need to add one more icon in the right side. So we can just take this, add it here, and the icon should be a notification icon. So our icon is showing up, but we want to push this icon in the right hand. So we can use a spacer, and we can use a spacer with weight. Okay, so we can use modifier dot weight, and we can pass 1f. Okay, and it will push this in the right side. One another way to achieve this can be like if we just use one row composable, inside that we put these first icon and text inside one row composable, and then another one will be one separate icon, and then we can use horizontal arrangement with a space between. So this will be one component, and another one will be this one, and in between there will be space, but I prefer using this. So for now we can go ahead with this, and then if we go to our home screen, we can see that it's looking like our UI. Now let's go to our main activity, and now we need to set up the navigation. Okay, so to set up the navigation, either we can directly write here the screen name, or we can set up one proper navigation graph. And to do that, first of all, let's create one composable. Let's call it app nav graph, This will be our application navigation graph. Let's create one composable. And inside this we are going to define the navigation. But before that, first of all, let's create one class. Let's call it screen, and this is going to be one sealed class where we will write all the screen with their respective route. It will take one parameter, route of a string type, and here we will define all the screen with their respective route. So first, let's say we have home screen. This is going to extend screen, and we are going to define route home screen. Okay, this is the route, or let's say define in small case. Okay, right now we only have this screen. Now we can go to our navigation graph. Here we can have one nav controller with the help of remember nav controller, and we can have one surface. This surface will have one modifier with fill max size. Now we need to define one nav host, and here we can define the nav controller. We need to pass the nav controller and a star destination. So we can take this route for a star destination. Okay, let's make it object if we want to pass any data in future. That's why. Now here we can pass with the help of screen dot home screen dot route. Why I made this a object? If we just keep it as class, so you will see that it will tell us to create object and all. So that's why we are keeping it as a object. Alright, let's add here the named argument is star destination, and this is our graph builder. Inside this we can use composable. Inside composable we need to pass the route, and that is going to be from our screen dot home screen dot route, and inside this we need to pass the actual screen composable, which is home screen, this one. Okay, now we can just take this nav graph and add inside our main activity here. Okay, now let's try to run the application and let's see how our application is looking like. So our application is launched, and we can see that our home screen is also coming up, and we have this custom component also showing up, but it is not as exact as we want, right? So let's go back to navigation graph. From here we can go to home screen, close the other tabs. Let's go to toolbar and modify this. So first of all we want one background, so let's add, and we need primary color. Okay, we need the blue color there. Now we want to make these things as white, so we can use tint and we can use white color. We can use this in the second icon also, and for text also we just need to use text color value, which is white color. Okay, now it's looking little bit nicer, but we can just reduce the size here. 4 icons, let's say 28 dp for the second icon also. Now we need to give some padding here so that this toolbar comes below the app bar. So for that we can just add here one padding, and that will be system bars padding. Once we add this, so our toolbar will come below app bar. If I show you by zooming, earlier it was like this. Okay, now we have some padding and we are not overlapping the system bar, which is this app bar. Okay, we can modify this little bit further. We can just use horizontal 18 dp. So now you can see it's not overlapping If I remove, you can see it's overlapping, but the moment we added this system bars padding, and now we are using horizontal padding because we already have vertical in terms of system bars padding. So it's not overlapping and it's looking beautiful also. If you want to add here some padding from top, so vertical we can't give, so we can just use start and end as 18 dp, and if you want to give little bit from top, you can give here like 4 dp or something. Let's say we want to give 8 dp. Okay, so now it's looking much better. Now let's close this app toolbar and come back to our home screen. Okay, so now in this home screen we need to design multiple components. First of all, let's start by creating one card component which can render dynamically whenever we send something from Firebase or server. For that, let's go to our components, and here we can create one file we can take and we can call it banner component. Let's create one composable. Let's call it banner component, and this banner can have one image, it can have one text, it can have one description, so we need to make it dynamic. So let's add one title for this banner, then description can be nullable. Okay, and title can also be nullable if we are just sending the image just in case. So I want to make it fully customizable, then we can have one image URL, and it can also have null. We can start with the help of column composable here. Let's add a modifier. We are going to take full width. Okay, and we are going to add one padding as well. Let's say 12 dp. Let's import this one. We can also add horizontal alignment, and we can use alignment dot center horizontally so that all the contents are in center, and for vertical arrangement we can use arrangement dot top so that content start at the top of the banner. Okay, now first of all let's design one preview for this. Let's add it here, append it with preview, and inside this we can just use banner component. Let's open the preview tab. We can add show background as true and this as well true. Okay, so right now we have not specified any color or any fixed height. So first of all let's do that. Let's add some height here. For now we are going to add a static height, let's say 280 dp. Now let's add some background color as well. So for that we can just add, let's say, green for now, just to see how our card is looking like. This is little big, let's say we are taking 240 dp. Okay, this is one banner, and we will of course modify it. We are going to show an image in the background, then we are going to show some kind of title and description if we have. Okay, so for that let's take this title, and inside our column we can check that if title is not null, so we can just use our text component. Okay, and if we go to the declaration, we need to pass the modifier and text value. Okay, so we can just add here modifier. We can just give wrap content width or wrap content size we can give, and for text value we can just pass it. Okay, which will be the title if it's not null. Alright, for testing purpose let's take this and here pass one title, let's say hello world. So it should update. Yeah, we can see the title is coming up, but as we have added this horizontal alignment as center horizontally, it's coming in the center. So what we can do, we can just use here start so that it will be started here. Also we can update our modifier here a little bit. Let's say we want to add some padding here as well. Let's say 8 dp. Okay, let's take this in the next line, and we can see it's taking the default color and size for now. We are good with that. Now we need to add same thing for description as well. So let's take this, add it here, and description. Okay, for size we can increase, I think, for title. So we can just take font size value and we can pass 24 sp, import the sp part here. For description we need to add in the preview as well. So let's add some word. This is a preview, and now we want to add one image in the background. So for that we can use one box, and then inside the box we can put the image first so that it will appear in the background, and then we can put the column on the top of that image. Okay, so let's do that. For box, first of all let's take this here, minimize this column component, and here complete our box. Now few things we can take from our column and add it here inside our box as a modifier, like fill max width, height is this much, padding is this much, and from our column we can remove these things and we can just add fill max size. Okay, so now it's simple. Our column is just filling the size whatever is there inside our box. And for image part, let's use coil library. So first of all, let's go to our TUML file. So I have taken this library dependency, and let's define this inside our libraries version TUML file. So we can define coil. We need to define one group. So our group is going to be this part. Then we need to define the name. So for name we need to just take coil compose, and we need to define one version, and for this we need to define one version as well. So we can define here coil version, and we need to define the exact version which we are going to use, and we need to use that version. Okay, this way we have defined the coil library. Now we need to add this inside our build.gradle file. So we can just use implementation libs.coil. Okay, and this is going to refer to this dependency. Now sync our project and come back to banner component. Now we no need to use this default image composable. We can use our image composable which will come out of coil library. Okay, so that is going to be async image, this one. So inside async image we need to pass one model, and this is nothing but the link for the URL. So we can pass image URL here, and we need to add one content description as well. We can add null, or we can just add something like banner image. We need to add one content scale, and for content scale we can add content scale dot crop, this one. And there are many other different type of scaling like fill bounds, fill height and width, or fit. We are going to go ahead with crop, and let's add one default modifier as well, and which is going to be similar to our column fill max size. That means we want to set this image in this entire portion. Okay, let's remove this color. One more thing I noticed, that we need to add one more dependency. If we want to load images from internet, we need to use this coil network OKHTTP, this dependency as well. So let me quickly add this one as well here. version is same, so we can just remove this and add coil network. Okay, take this inside our dependency and add it here as well, sync the project, and now we are ready to load images from the internet. In manifest I have added the permissions as well. Comment down below that if this permission is the first permission which you have used in your Android development career, or if this is not the first, then what was the permission which you used as your first permission in your Android application development projects. Okay, now let's get back to banner. So our async image definition is done here. Now instead of seeing this in our preview, let's try to use this component in our home screen. Then we will run our application and see this directly in the device. So we can just use here banner component, and in banner component we need to pass one title, description and image. For now let's use all of these three. So for image URL I have one dummy URL. Let's see if this works. And now we are using this component directly. Let's try to run our application. We will see how it looks like in real phone. Okay, so we can see that image is also loading up and it's coming in the center because inside our home screen this column is having alignment dot center, so we can just use alignment dot top. Okay, or top start, so that all of these contents are aligned at the top and from the start. So we can see that our image is coming, our title and description is coming. Later on my plan here is to get these images either from some API or from some kind of online database like Firebase. Okay, so we are going to do those things in the upcoming parts, and trust me, this application is really going to be a super app. It is going to have multiple different functionalities which one can use in their daily life. And that's it for today's video. I am coming very soon with the next part of this series. Stay tuned, and if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. I will see you very soon in the next part, and wish you all a very happy new year once again.